have a question for Governor Palin, and as a mother, I just wanted to hear your response to the people out there that have said that you can't be a mother and vice president, which of course you can.
Well, let's prove them wrong. Thank you for that question, and just I'm very, very blessed to have this opportunity to show that, people had asked the question. I was pregnant when I was the governor, and they asked, how are you going to be the governor and have a baby in office? And I said, the same way that every other governor has brought up a family, had a baby in office. Granted, they were men. Maybe that was the difference, but we're going to be able to do it. And I thank you for the question, and you have the most beautiful family, and I congratulate you. And thank you so much for recognizing, though, that this is the maverick who would have even chosen such a candidate to partner up. And this is the party that embraces the change and the progress that America and American women are craving and deserving.
I haven't really heard where we're talking about finding this oil, and can you speak about the Russians taking over or claiming the Arctic and what China is doing with Cuba?
Offshore is where it's at, and John McCain being a supporter of that offshore drilling, that's going to help get us there also. There are many leases that the oil companies hold today that essentially, though they are they're warehousing the oil underground, there's still a lot of places in America, of course, that need to be tapped, that they're proven reserves in these areas. In Alaska, in the Dakotas, some new finds there. We have billions and billions and billions of barrels of oil underground in the United States of America. We have hundreds of trillions of cubic feet of clean, green, natural gas onshore and offshore. It's a matter of Congress allowing these lands to be tapped, the offshore drilling, the allowance given there also for safe, reliable, and ethical drilling of these resources. That's part of the reform that we have to usher into D.C. also. Not allowing the big oil company lobbyists undue influence to dictate how this is going to happen. These resources belong to the people. Yes, the oil companies have the leases, the right to develop. They also have a duty to develop, though. When it's economic, when people are hurting, they need to tap those resources and get those sources flowing. That's part of the reform that we're going to usher into D.C., and we did that up in Alaska.
The first part of the question is for Governor Palin. Have you been able to convince the senator on drilling in ANWR?
I'm still working on it.
And the next question is...
This town hall meeting is adjourned.
Governor Palin, there has been quite a bit of discussion about your perceived lack of foreign policy experience, and I want to give you your chance. If you could please respond to that criticism and give us specific skills that you think you have to bring to the White House to rebut that or mitigate that concern.
Well, I think because I'm a Washington outsider that the opponents are going to be looking for a whole lot of things that they can criticize, and they can kind of try to beat the candidate here who chose me as his partner to kind of tear down the ticket. But as for foreign policy, I think that I am prepared, and I know that on January 20th, if we are so blessed as to be sworn into office as your president and vice president, certainly we'll be ready. I'll be ready. I have that confidence. I have that readiness. And if you want specifics with specific policy or countries, go ahead and you can ask me. You can even play Stump the Candidate if you want to. But we are ready to serve.
Could I just add one comment to that? We all know that one of the greatest threats to our nation's security, as we discussed earlier, is our dependence on foreign oil. Now, this is the person that negotiated at the expense of the oil companies a $40 billion natural gas pipeline that's going to come down to what they call the lower 48 to relieve and help address one of our great national security challenges, and that's our dependency on foreign oil. I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of her obvious knowledge of this nation's energy needs, because that's a national security issue. I also know, if I might remind you, that she's commander of the Alaska National Guard. In fact, you may know that on September 11th, a large contingent of the Alaska Guard deployed to Iraq, and her son happened to be one of them. So I think she understands our national security challenges, and we've had many conversations, and I'm convinced that she understands the challenges this nation faces, from the threat of radical Islamic extremism, as she already talked about earlier, energy issues, and other challenges this nation faced. And I believe she is absolutely, totally qualified to address every challenge of this next Vice President of the United States, not just our national security needs.